So this is a tutorial for the Xbox One mod called Copypasta by the mod author tim-timman. It's located in the whip section of Bethesda.net. If it's not there, just look out for it on the main section in case it's been moved. So what is Copypasta? Copypasta is a brilliant tool that allows you to move, copy and rotate whole groups of objects that are then easily and accurately placeable anywhere inside of or even outside of your settlement. This is a prototype, but it's already had dozens of updates. Going forward, it's probably going to remain relatively unsupported unless there's something majorly game-breaking, as Tim's currently building a new version from the ground up. I'm also helping with the functional design on this new version to hopefully improve the user experience and make it a bit more intuitive in the future. In Tim's own admission, this version was built on shoddy code. Don't let that put you off. It's not without bugs, but it's ridiculously fun. I'd go as far as to say it's probably the most essential mod alongside Place Anywhere by Registrator 2000. In fact, in this video, everything you'll see is purely made with Vanilla Workshop assets, and the only two mods I'm using are Copypasta and Place Anywhere. With these two mods alone, you've had the power to absolutely transform your settlements without even needing new Workshop assets. I'm going to be focusing mainly on Copypasta for this particular tutorial. I'll show you some small examples of designs that you can get involved with, especially by combining Place Anywhere with Copypasta, and I'll aim to do a video series of their effectiveness combined, especially some of the more technical aspects like this faux Chinese sign with the brushstroke effect, for example. And I'll hopefully give you some simple ideas that help transform your settlements. You may remember this non-modded version of the lightbox sign I created in Agret, for example. The modded version is actually just the same sign. I used Copypasta to give it a bit more class by placing the spotlights inside of the lightboxes simply by tilting them 45 degrees and then group copying them to get literally hundreds of spotlights in place easily and efficiently. I'm in the process of repairing the building in Agret Tours. I'm building a diner. It's purely vanilla assets, but only possible with Copypasta and Place Anywhere. The floors are actually just chessboards. The walls are made from metal posts in the warehouse tab, and the ceiling is just made from upside down fluorescent lights from the vault tab. Anything that's not immediately obvious, I'll cover in short videos once the following basics are understood. In the specials tab, you're going to find the Copypasta post. Just put that into the game world. So you're going to see a box spawn around the post known as a helper. This is your access to the settings menu. If you just hover your cursor over it so it highlights green and then press B to store, you're going to access it. So that's the best method to use if you're also using Place Anywhere by Registrator 2000. There is another method, but it will conflict with Place Anywhere. I'll quickly show you it. Just physically select the box and cancel it. That's going to open up the Copypasta settings menu. The problem being is that it's also going to open up the Place Anywhere settings menu. Once I exit this menu, it's going to open up Place Anywhere's options menu. That's going to get really annoying. There is a way that you can avoid this happening, but my original method is still better. But all you'd have to do is just pick up this box, move slightly, and then cancel it. That's going to prevent Place Anywhere's option menu from opening. So once you've opened up your menu, you're going to be faced with several options. The first is the mode. That can either be copy or move, it's a toggle. And the second is grab selection when grabbed, which is also a toggle, yes to no. Keep that on yes for now. I'm going to show you move mode first. To use Copypasta, you need to highlight an object. To do that, select the object, press pause and then unpause. you're going to get a red highlight. Now, if you pick up that post and then place the posts, you will pick up and place the highlighted object. It's that simple. That highlighted object can be placed absolutely anywhere and will clip through everything. To clear an object, simply do another pause and unpause. That's going to clear that object, but there is a better way that you can do it. If you go back to your special tab and lay down the post, it's going to clear everything that was highlighted. Now I'm going to show you copy mode. Make sure you've got a highlighted object. Go to your settings, switch to copy. Now when you pick up your post, you're going to produce a copy of your highlighted object. Pick up the post, makes a copy, place the post, it places the copy. This is a brilliant feature, but Copypasta doesn't just move or copy single objects. You can move or copy a whole group of objects simply by highlighting each object you wish to move or copy. Then you just proceed as you normally would. Don't worry about the position of my post in relation to the objects. I'm actually in the process of doing a build, and this is just a classic Limmy technique to do a camera pan sweep in order to get a nice curved structure. So I'm in the process of building something, but as it stands, it's just looking a bit shit with all the repeating textures. I'm just going to change that now. I want to use a place anywhere just to switch these textures of the barn posts. There's actually only 2 textures on the barn posts anyway. So I'm going to flip some of these just to improve the textures, get rid of some of that repeating pattern. I'm going to do a bit more to improve the textures in a bit. But for now, we're going to continue with the tutorial because there's another important feature I want to show you. I'm going to show you the group highlight feature. This is so that you don't have to highlight each object individually when using Copypasta. In the settings menu, you're going to see an option saying grab selection when grabbed equals yes. Set that to no. Now position your post so it's as close to the group as possible and also the lowest item in the group. That's really important. Now perform a group select on the post. In other words, hold down the grab button. Everything will get a green highlight. Now move the group slightly and then place it. And then wait. You'll see that everything starts getting a Copypasta highlight. This can take a couple of minutes depending on how big your group is. Now just go back to the settings menu, and where it says grab selection when grabbed, switch that back to yes. That enables you to move the group. If you don't do this, all you're going to do is just move the post itself and not the group, like so, which is actually quite useful to position yourself in the right camera alignment. Once you switch that option back to yes, you're free to move that group as you normally would. So I'm going to continue with my build. I said I was going to do something more to fix these repeating textures. I've got something really cool that you can do with Copypasta. Copypasta actually allows you to rotate objects along a different axis rotation. It's a brilliant feature. I'm going to take half of these barn posts and flip them 180 degrees. That's really going to help get rid of those horrible repeating textures. So I'm going to show you the method that allows you to switch the axis rotation of objects so you can tilt them or rotate them at different angles. With objects highlighted in either move or grab mode, select the post, hold grab the post, press the pause button, release grab Wait a couple of seconds and then press B. This brings up the rotation menu. It allows you to switch the axis rotation of objects. Z is the default axis rotation in game, so switching it along the X and Y is going to enable you to do things that you couldn't ordinarily do in game. I'm going to rotate this group around the X axis rotation. So once you select your option, you can then use your normal rotation triggers to rotate the group. Instead of rotating along the Z axis, it's now rotating along an X axis. You can't actually place objects while you're in this rotation mode, so you set the rotation with the trigger controls, then you need to press A to confirm that rotation. Only then can you start placing it. You have to wait till you get camera control back because you lose it while in rotation mode. So once you get your camera control back, that's the right analog stick, camera control, then you can start moving your object along its normal Z rotation again, and then you can place it. This is going to take a lot of practice to get used to. Now I'm going to show you another brilliant feature. It can only be done in move mode currently, but while you're in move mode and you have the post selected and you are trying to make that perfect alignment, instead of placing your group, say for example if you're not sure that you've got the perfect alignment, this is going to enable you to eliminate any guesswork. You can freeze your selection, then move to a better camera angle, defrost your selection, and then carry on that placement. It really helps with getting that perfect alignment, specifically with custom builds. So how you do that is while you've got your post, while you're holding your post, you just press pause and then unpause to freeze, and then pause and unpause to defrost. You can continue doing this as many times as you like until you've got a perfect alignment. It's quite a difficult one to describe. You're just going to have to practice it until you're used to it. So this is what I'm left with. It's a far cry from those horrible repeating textures that I started off with, that I'll quickly show you here, which looked a bit crap. I'll show you a bug before we continue. Sometimes when you move this post, like so, you can no longer select that post. Can you see there's no highlight? The only thing that highlights is that helper. That's a real problem. Actually, the only way you can get to that post now is by going to its original location and selecting it from there. Then you can access that post. The problem being is when you move that post again, you then have to do the same thing to access that post. It's a real issue. You could also cancel that helper and then the post will come back to its correct spot, but you're still going to be faced with that same problem again. The only way that you can really fix this is by storing the post and then laying it down again. As you can see, it's now moving as intended. Okay, so I've covered rotating objects, but I haven't told you an important fact about them. Once you switch the axis rotation of an object, like so, you can no longer move that object in the correct fashion. If I go to pick up that object now, can you see it's jumping all over the place? That's not the worst problem, but it's an issue. The problem is when you try and rotate that object, can you see how it's rotating now? It's no longer rotating on the normal Z-axis rotation. In fact, it will never leave its Z-axis. There is a way to fix that. That's by continued use of Copypasta post. That's the only way you can move this post properly now. As you can see, it's now moving along the Z-axis rotation, the default Z-axis. So I've pretty much covered everything that you need to know about Copypasta in order for you to get next level with your builds. I'm going to speed this up a bit, but this has the potential to absolutely transform your settlements, even just using vanilla assets. I may do some more examples at a later stage. I'll continue with this build sped up just so you can kind of see the process and see what the hell I've just built. I'm going to slow this bit down because I'm about to rotate this group, and it's not the easiest feature to grasp. So we'll cover it again. So once you've grabbed your post, you have to do a group select on that post, grab the post, press the pause button, release the pause button, wait a second, and then press B to cancel. Then that rotation menu comes up, select the rotation option that you want. Now use the triggers to rotate the group along the axis rotation that you've chosen. If you want to then switch the axis rotation again, simply press pause and then cancel, and then the menu is going to come up, and then you can switch it along the X or Y axis rotation instead. Once you press A to confirm your axis rotation, then you need to get your camera control back, and then you can start moving your group again and placing it as you normally would. Once you get confirmation that that group has been placed, to quickly clear the highlights, just lay down another post and it will clear them. Copypasta is going to take a while to get used to, but once you've mastered it and you start applying a bit of clever logic, you can get very efficient with your builds. Custom builds that would normally take tens of hours can be done in tens of minutes. Fiddly, intricate little details become 1,000 times more worth doing because you can just keep on reusing the same elements by using Copypasta to copy them. Combine it with Place Anywhere by Registrator 2000, like I'm doing now, using that precision menu control. You can do some fabulous things. Having both of these two options together really give you that ability to transform your settlements purely with vanilla assets. So here's a rather natural looking wooden bridge, all made from one barn post in the vanilla tab that only had 2 different textures on it that we were able to make look really natural, all thanks to Copypasta. And that's just one minuscule example of an infinite amount of things that you can do with this brilliant tool.